Hello from Jonathan and from me. Welcome to the programme.
First tonight, a campaigner from Cambridgeshire has warned many victims of a contaminated blood scandal will not live long enough to see justice done.
A 2-year public inquiry was launched last year over the deaths of at least 2,400 people who were given infected blood products in the 1970s and 80s. One of those was Tony Farrugia's father, who died after contracting HIV.
Well, along with others, Tony's calling for the government to compensate people now rather than after the inquiry is complete, which he argues may be too late. Rebecca Howarth has been to see him.
Tony Farrugia was only 14 years old when he found out his father had HIV. That was more than 3 decades ago, but he still remembers the moment well.
We were devastated. I mean, it was just hitting the main headlines at that point of the gay plague. I mean, that was how it was portrayed. When he told me those words that he had HIV, I think from that moment I knew that he was dying. That was it, that he was going to die. We were also finding out a few weeks after my father died that it wasn't just my dad. Haemophilia was a hereditary condition. Both of his brothers were haemophiliacs, and they were both infected as well.
Tony's father Barry, along with his uncles David and Victor, died after receiving contaminated blood. A public inquiry is now underway to investigate the deaths of more than 2,000 people who were given infected blood products in the 1970s and 80s. However, Tony, who lives in St Neots, is concerned many victims won't live long enough to see the outcome.
Since this inquiry's been announced, I think around 170 victims have died. They won't see justice. They've gone to their graves with no sense of justice. And it's still happening. And it's estimated that one victim is dying every 4 days. And if this continues, then there will be at least another 100, 150 deaths before we even get to the report.
Tony, along with other campaigners, are due to meet with a government minister next week. He's not hopeful it will lead to anything.
It's just a PR stunt to show the general public that, you know, we've listened to these people, but they've actually done nothing.
Tony's urging the government to admit liability and to compensate the victims and their families now so they can get closure and move on with their lives.
There's campaigners out there that have been fighting for over 30 years and they've been blocked, their voices haven't been heard, and this needs to change.
Rebecca Howarth, ITV News, St Neots.
Well, let's head to Westminster now. Political correspondent Emma Hutchinson. Emma, we heard Tony there say he thought that next week's meeting is going to be a PR stunt. What do you think?
Well, I think it's unlikely that this inquiry is going to be speeded up. Of course, it started last year after decades of campaigning from very many people. Since it started, the inquiry's already heard from more than 180 people. There have been thousands more written submissions, but there is still a way to go. And the inquiry continues with a week of expert hearings at the end of next month, when they will hear from experts in HIV, hepatitis, haemophilia. Before that, there will be local meetings to update those who have been infected, those who are affected by this. One in our region on Thursday, the 13th of February in Norwich. But as we've heard, there are still concerns that though the government have apologised for this scandal, they won't yet accept liability. And there are also concerns that levels of compensation and support could be different in different parts of the UK. And that was an issue raised today with Jacob REES-MOGG in the Commons.
The Department of Health and Social Care has increased financial support to beneficiaries of the Infected Blood Support Scheme in England and is looking at a matter of urgency, the issue that the Honourable Lady mentioned in relation to the differences between the schemes in England and Northern Ireland and Wales, and the Secretary of State is here and has heard her point.
So, Emma, when will the inquiry finish?
Well, it's due to finish in 2021, but we expect that the report of the inquiry might not be until 2022. And as we heard in the report, and we heard today in the Commons as well, that statistic that 1 in 4, one sufferer is dying every 4 days. There will be very many people like Tony who are campaigning for this to speed up a bit and to get closer to getting that report.
Absolutely. Emma, thank you very much indeed for that.